Hurricane Florence is anticipated to hit the Carolinas. A CSX train hits a vehicle in Cordova Saturday morning, and a motorcycle wrecks on East Broad Avenue. That and more all coming your way on your Monday edition of Live at 5, brought to you by Richmond CC. Richmond County's nightly news starts right now. The National Hurricane Center has issued an advisory on Hurricane Florence, which is currently located over the west central Atlantic Ocean and projected to hit the coast of the Carolinas head-on. Florence is forecast to be a very powerful major hurricane on its approach to the coast of the southeastern United States this Wednesday and Thursday. The associated risk of life-threatening impacts have increased well inland and into central North Carolina, which includes the potential for high damaging wind, tornadoes, and prolonged extremely heavy rainfall. Governor Roy Cooper has already placed North Carolina under a state of emergency. The National Weather Service is strongly encouraging folks to continue to closely monitor the latest forecast and to ensure their emergency kits and hurricane plans are in place. We'll have more on Hurricane Florence during our weather segment, but if you're looking for ways to prepare for this storm, visit the website weather.gov to find a full list of things to have for a hurricane emergency kit. First responders were dispatched Saturday morning around 8:15 a.m. to the railroad crossing behind the Von Drill plant on Zion Church Road. Upon arrival, it was discovered that a vehicle crossing the tracks had been struck. The vehicle was traveling south on the highway when it tried to cross the tracks with the signal arms down. The train engine struck the vehicle and forced it about 65 yards down the track. The engine was able to stop over 800 feet from the point of impact. The driver was able to walk away from the incident, but was later transported to the hospital for observation by EMS. First responders weren't done that morning, however. At 11:31 a.m., first responders were called in front of Bojangles, where a motorcyclist had been struck by a vehicle entering the highway. Paramedics checked the rider for injuries, and he did not need to be transported to the hospital. Fire and EMS personnel marked back in service at 11:48 a.m., and the police department remained on the scene investigating the accident. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office will upgrade charges against the suspect in connection with a shooting that occurred on Wednesday, September 5th. Clemmy Lee Covington of Rockingham was arrested and initially charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury, as well as possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The victim of the shooting later succumbed to her wounds on Friday. Covington may now be charged with murder. When we return, I'll be bringing you your Live at 5 weather report with more on Hurricane Florence. It's coming up right after the break, so stay tuned.
At Richmond Community College, we can prepare you for a high-skill, high-paying career in a variety of fields. From business to education, engineering, utilities, healthcare, criminal justice, information technology, and human services. At Richmond Community College, we can save you thousands of dollars on tuition through our university transfer programs that provide a seamless transition to universities and colleges throughout North Carolina. At Richmond Community College, we are always developing new courses and programs in response to the communities we serve. We offer day, evening, and online courses, and you can now complete 5 curriculum programs entirely online. At Richmond Community College, we believe in helping you prepare for a better life. Richmond Community College. Local college, big impact.
At Kyocera, we see your company differently. We see your documents, how they're accessed, what it takes to keep them secure, and how well your workflow is flowing.
Kyocera helps your entire document infrastructure run more efficiently, securely, and cost-effectively.
And what we see is an opportunity to integrate all of it.
Hayden Construction has 2 new homes under construction at 2 distinct locations, 125 Crystal Court in Carolina Hills and on Robberdale School Road. Both feature incredible floor plans and distinct features inside and out. Hayden Construction, quality, value, and beauty. Call Jamie Smart at 910-331-5811 or Nicole Hayden at 910-995-0717 today to schedule an appointment. Exit Realty, making dreams a reality.
At Richmond County Hospice, we strive to provide high-quality care to our patients and their families. Whether it's the incredible hospitality at the Haven House or from the comfort of your own home, you can count on hospice to be there for you. We also offer monthly grief support groups, and our chaplain will be there to hold your hand in prayer. Through our amazing staff and our volunteers, hospice has made difficult times easier for our community. Call the number on your screen if you feel that you or your loved one may benefit from our services. Richmond County Hospice. Peace, comfort, dignity.
Today's Live at 5 weather report is brought to you by Medical Center Pharmacy. And unless you've been living under a rock or nowhere near the Carolinas, as you know by now, Hurricane Florence is well on her way. As we take a look, trying to figure out which way this thing may go over the next couple of days, as it sits right now, the wind speeds are up to 115 miles per hour. That was as of 11 a.m. this morning. As far as the speed of the storm, it's moving 13 miles per hour, which may seem kind of slow, but as this thing continues to build, 13 miles an hour will seem just fast enough. Now, as of right now, it is still located way out in the Atlantic. It's about 560 miles southeast of Bermuda. However, it is expected to be a Category 4 hurricane by tomorrow. Moving past that, as we look further towards the week, the hurricane is expected to make landfall on Wednesday, probably Wednesday evening towards later in the evening towards midnight. Now, depending on conditions, it could strike the mainland here in the Carolinas or turn north, impact the Outer Banks and Virginia coastline. The spaghetti models so far, most of them, about 90% of them, have this thing hitting the Carolinas head on. There is a small percentage that this thing, as we just mentioned, could continue to head north, even stay out in the ocean, although that's only at about 5% right now. But we want to let you know to be prepared for the worst. That way, if you're prepared and nothing happens, then nothing will be lost as far as life. Now, taking a look at the map as we try to project how this thing is going to move over the next few days. As of 11 a.m. this morning, you can see, like I mentioned earlier, it's way out there in the ocean still, but it's steadily on its way. This particular model has 8 a.m. tomorrow, 8 p.m. tomorrow, continuing to move up towards the Carolinas. I'm going to see more of that as we move into Wednesday towards the middle of the week. As we just mentioned, 8 a.m. on Thursday, this thing is fully expected to be hitting the eastern part of the Carolinas. And as you can see, on 8 a.m. Friday and on Saturday, as the projections show now, this thing will be hovering over the Carolinas. Now, what we want to hope for is that if it does hit us, it'll continue to move on up into the northern part of the states. However, what we also could see as this thing gets bigger, hovers over the ocean for a little bit in that warm water. Right now, we're in the peak season of hurricane season. Hopefully, what we don't see is that it gets inland, and then just kind of sits there like we saw similar to Hurricane Harvey in Houston, Texas last year. So again, hopefully we'll see this thing, if it hits us, continue to move on up towards the north. Now, taking a look at the percentages of rain for tomorrow. Even though it's not expected to hit us, we are still expecting some precipitation. Starting on the eastern part, 30% chance over in Wilmington, 40% in New Bern, 50% chance in Greenville and in Raleigh. Same thing right here in the Sand Hills area, 50-50 coin toss whether we'll get some rain, more than likely a shower here or two in Southern Pines, Rockingham, and Laurinburg. Moving towards the western part of the state, over in Charlotte, same thing, 50% chance of thunderstorms there. Greensboro, 50%, and Hickory, 50%. So in both North and South Carolina, you can probably expect some rain for tomorrow, so make sure to have your umbrella ready. Also want to have it ready for the next 5 days. As we mentioned, 50% chance expected tomorrow, 89 for the high, 72 for the low. Same thing for Wednesday as Florence gets closer and closer, 40% chance of thunderstorms throughout that day, high of 88, low of 72. Now, as we mentioned, Thursday, we've only put up 50% chance and 60% chance for Thursday and Friday. Kind of want to hold off and see which way this thing could potentially go. But as we get closer to that, we'll make sure to update it. Anyway, in the meantime, the high for Thursday is expected to be 84, high of 85 on Friday. And then on Saturday, unfortunately, more rain expected, a 50% chance that day, high of 83. You know, as we mentioned, we don't know if this thing's going to continue heading up the East Coast or whether it could sit here and rain on us for days. So again, we'll keep all this updated. But in the meantime, make sure to go get prepared. Get your first aid kits, batteries, candles, board games if you need something to do in case the power goes out, and of course, non-perishable food items. And that's going to do it for your Live at 5 weather report. When we return, Raider football upsets Butler High School 30-19. It's coming up when we return.
McNair Auto Sales is the place to buy your pre-owned car, truck, or van. To be the best, it takes big selection, friendly staff, and great pricing. We guarantee a no-hassle buying experience, and financing is available right on site. So come see us today. We're located at 1026 East Broad Avenue in Rockingham. And remember, with over 40 years of experience, you know McNair is the name you can trust.
Willow Tree Antiques and Gifts is all about rustic home decor and gifts. You will always find a variety of unique antiques, vintage, and new items in our shop. Come and see our selection of housewarming, new baby, and wedding gifts. For the man in your life, we have many collectibles, Boker knives, and leather. And ladies love the jewelry, purses, candles, hats, and t-shirts. We also offer a 30-day layaway program. Come and experience shopping at Willow Tree Antiques and Gifts.
For the second time in 3 games, the Richmond Senior High School varsity football team was a participant in one of North Carolina's premier Friday Night Lights showcases on the road at Butler High School on Friday night. With the season stakes raised against the number 4 Bulldogs, Richmond head coach Brian Teal noted earlier this week that his team needed this, quote, big win to make a statement that the Raiders are the real deal for state championship contention this fall. And the second-year head coach got exactly what he, his players, and Richmond County wanted, and he made a point to tell his kids after 48 minutes of play to, quote, enjoy the mess out of this. In what turned out to be a runaway game in the middle quarters, the Raiders notched their 3rd win of the season and their biggest one through the first 4 weeks of the 2018 campaign in convincing fashion with a 30-19 victory over the Bulldogs. With the win, Richmond completed its non-conference schedule on a high note as it sent Butler to the dog pound, racking up 316 yards of total offense while scoring 4 touchdowns by 3 different players. Friday's win avenged a 27-21 loss to Butler a season ago, and the Raiders turned the tables on their opponent, breaking the game wide open in the second and third quarters in the latest chapter of the storied rivalry. It also snapped a 3-game losing streak to the Bulldogs. Richmond will take its bye week in Week 5 and use an extra week to prepare for opening Sandhills Athletic Conference play on the road against Purnell Sweat High School, a usual suspect to be near the bottom of the conference standings. With a string of 7 straight SAC games to close out the season, Teal noted the imperativeness for his team to keep the momentum going against the Rams. Purnell Sweat was off Friday and will face Hoggard High School in Week 5. In last season's matchup, the Raiders notched a season high in points as they smoked the Rams 56-34. Richmond will look to keep its 23-game winning streak against Purnell Sweat alive with kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. in Pembroke on Friday, September 21st. And that's going to do it for today's edition of Live at 5. If you haven't already, be sure to download the Richmond Observer app for your iPhone and Android devices. For all the latest news in Richmond County, visit richmondobserver.com. And be sure to tune in to Good Morning Sandhills Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 8:30 a.m. Thanks for watching Live at 5, and good night, Richmond County.